Here's the problem identified with my door. As you can see, pressing the button doesn't actually open the door. It tries, but it doesn't release properly. The only way to open it is to pull the door and hold it for a couple of seconds, and then that will release it, as you'll see. It's called the primary release motor, I believe, is the issue, and that's what we're doing. So you want to start by making sure that your doors are switched off, so they don't chop you in half. They won't, don't worry. First to start, you want to remove the Torx bit. I think it's a T25 or a T30, can't remember off the top of my head. Just pop that fella out. I started by removing this top bit of trim. I think it actually goes behind the door card, door trim, whatever you want to call it. But they're all just on pull clips. There's only one screw actually to get the whole door trim off. Once you've done that, it's a case of with a trim tool removal, or trim removal tool even, going around and just releasing all the little poppers all around the door. There's roughly 980, I think there might be 12, but they go right around the door. It's quite difficult, you kind of have to open and close the door to get the different trims, but just persist. What I'm trying to show here is the fact that that upper trim does fit behind the lower door trim. You can kind of wiggle it out, but it's probably easy to take the door trim off first and then take this one off. You probably don't even need to take it off, but I did because I wanted to clean behind it. And that's the door trim off. Just check that all your clips are in place and you've not lost anything. Good chance to check that everything's all in where it should be. Any that are missing, just find where they are and pop them back in, just like that. I left this bit in just because I thought it might be useful for anyone who wants to see actually what's inside the door trim, seeing all the different parts. You can see mine's been into before someone's taped it up. I think that the motor that I replaced has actually been replaced before. It looked like someone had been there before. But yeah, sorry to leave this in for those who want to just rush past. You can skip past this part if you want, but it just kind of shows the different parts that are inside the door. Kind of poorly. At this point in time I was looking for the motor, trying to identify it. So here is the primary release motor. Screws just come out and it pops out pretty straightforward, and there's a cable that just needs to be removed from it. It's dead straightforward. And then on that there's like a metal frame that you need to take off. One of mine was stupidly tight and it spun the riv nut and stripped the screw, so there was a bit of extra work there involved in getting that out, but basically you just remove those screws and the frame comes off. Once you've got the frame off, that just leaves you with the plastic housing. There's a few screws around the outside to take out, not that one there, which is the one I had to damage to get off, to get the frame off. Then open it up. There's a few cogs inside, just kind of pay attention to where they go. It's not actually as complicated as it looks. I just took them out just so that I could get access to the motor. It's like a worm and wheel drive. I just used a flat-headed screwdriver just to pop that motor out. The worm wheel comes off. I also took the little foam pad off mine and just added it onto the new motor, just in case it needed to be there. Not sure. There we go, there's the new motor. So there's the new motor going back in, putting all the cogs back in. Obviously they won't turn because worm wheels are one directional. And pop the cover back on, chuck the screws in, put it back on the door. There's 3 screws just to hold the mechanism back in. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, so they say. So then switch your doors back on. Keen eye will notice this is the same image. I reused it. Everyone likes to recycle. Before I put the door trim on though, it's a good idea just to give it a check that everything's working and jobs are good, and nice to see the door working as it once did. push the upper trim back on, clip it into place, make sure all the clips are back on before you do that. Now I did speed this up, primarily just because I'm a slow worker, but it's actually quite tricky because you're fitting something that is kind of have to move the door backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, and to try and get it all to line up wasn't so straightforward. But basically all you're doing is lining the door up with the clips and making sure that you also remember to reconnect the electric window switch. So have the wire handy, don't put the door trim back on and then realise that that's buried down in the door trim like I did the first time. Once you've got that, just line up the holes with the clips, push them in, make sure you get it all the way around, right around the bottom and the top. And the door trim should be nice and snug and tight against the door. That's it, straightforward, it's a pretty easy job.